So I have a question for you. If you miss a curb, turn too quickly, or your foot lands wrong, can your body correct itself before you hit the ground? That's what balance is really for. See, obviously, standing on one foot to impress someone is not the goal. When the time comes, you want your body to be able to adjust when real life doesn't go exactly as you planned. According to the CDC, falls are the leading cause of injury for adults 65 and older, and more than 14 million adults report falling every year. Most falls do not cause a serious injury, but the CDC reports that about 37% of older adults who fall have an injury that needs to be treated or limits activity for at least a day. So those injuries can make it harder to get around, handle everyday activities, or live on your own. That is the connection to independence I care about. So although it may seem like it, falls are not an automatic part of getting older. And the U.S. Preventive Services Task Force says that interventions can help prevent falls in adults ages 65 and older who are at increased levels of risk. So today I'm going to walk you through 4 simple balance exercises you can practice near something sturdy. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you what not to do, because doing balance work badly can create the exact problem we're trying to prevent. So before we get to the exercises, let me explain what balance actually is, because it's not just strong legs. See, what happens is your brain is constantly combining information from your eyes, your inner ears, the feeling in your feet and joints and your muscles. You see, those systems work together to tell you where your body is and what it needs to do next. That is why I don't want you to assume that every balance problem is just aging. See, medications, blood pressure, inner ear problems, vision, nerve problems, and other medical conditions can affect balance too. So if you have new dizziness or vertigo or fainting or numbness in your feet, or even a sudden change in your balance, please talk to your doctor before treating this like an exercise problem. So before I show you the 4 exercises, the one rule applies to all of them. Work next to a sturdy counter, wall, or railing. Okay, please do that. Clear anything you could trip over. Wear shoes that don't slide. If you feel dizzy or lightheaded, maybe some pain or a little unsafe, please stop. Okay. Now, if you normally use a cane or a walker or a mobility aid, do not put it aside because a video tells you to challenge your balance. Use the support you have been prescribed. And so if you need a different starting point, please reach out to a physical therapist, because they can help you find one that's specifically suited for you. So if you appreciate me making these type of videos and this type of content, please let me know by gently tapping the like button, because that really helps the channel grow. And with that being said, let's get to work. Oh yeah, and one more thing before I start. Number 1, these are beginner examples, not a personal prescription. So if one of these exercises feels too hard, just skip it. Starting safer is not failing the exercise. It's how you make sure you can come back and practice again. And I'm slowing down not because I want you to feel like you're not smart or anything like that, because these exercises are really, really important. But at the same time, your safety is more important. I really cannot emphasize enough how important it is to follow these rules only if you are in a safe environment. Number 1 is a supported one-leg stand. So stand facing a sturdy counter or wall and keep your fingertips touching it. Now, what you want to do is lift one foot just a little off the floor and keep your hips level and your standing knees soft. A simple starting point is 5 to 10 seconds, something like that. And then put your foot down and then switch sides. So the NHS Balance Guide uses this exercise and suggests working up to 3 holds on each side. So the important word is supported. You are practicing balance, not proving that you can do it without help. Okay, number 2, use the heel toe walk. So what you're going to do is you're going to stand next to a counter or a wall, and you're going to put one foot directly in front of the other. So the heel of the front foot is close to the toes of the back foot. Okay. Then take another small step the same way. Start with about 5 controlled steps. Look ahead, not down at your feet the entire time. If you need a wall or a counter, use it. And if it gets easier over time, you can slowly add more steps. Number 3 is the sideways walk. So you're going to stand beside your counter with your knees together and bent slightly. So what you're going to do is you're going to step one foot to the side and then bring the other foot over to meet it. Keep going slowly along the counter and then come back the other way. So what you're going to do is you're going to start with 5 to 10 steps in each direction. And the goal is slow and controlled. You do not need to take big steps. Okay. Okay. Now, number 4 is the controlled step up. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to use a low step with a railing or something sturdy right next to you. You're going to step up slowly with one foot, and then you're going to bring the other foot up. Then you're going to step back down under control. Okay, so the NHS Balance Guide suggests working your way up to about 5 with each leg. Now, this one is useful because real life gives us curbs, real life gives us porch steps, real life gives us stairs. But if steps are already difficult or unsafe for you, please do not use this video to test yourself. See, that's a good reason to ask a physical therapist or your doctor for a safer starting point. So these are the 4: supported one leg stand, heel to toe walk, sideways walk, and a controlled step up. And I want to be very careful with the promise I'm making. I cannot tell you that doing these 4 movements guarantees you will never fall. Okay, that would be obviously not true. Nobody can honestly promise that. What the research does support is that exercise programs can reduce fall risks, especially for older adults who are already at increased levels of risks. And the strongest programs often include more than one type of exercise, so balance, strength, and walking or functional movement. That is one reason I keep talking about the 5 pillars of independence. See, balance does not live by itself. Your strength matters. Your vision matters. Your medications can matter. Your home setup can matter. And if you are afraid of falling, then that matters too. So, how often should you practice? Well, for a beginner, I would rather see you start with about 2 or 3 short sessions a week and stay consistent, and then turn this into a daily challenge over time. See, I would rather you do that than quit after 4 days. So what the NHS recommends is that balanced exercises occur about twice a week. And the US guidance recommends that older adults include balance activities along with strength and aerobic activity for each week. So the goal is not exhaustion. The goal is better control. So do not make these harder by closing your eyes. I know a lot of people are talking about that online. And that's like this big thing that's out there. Don't follow that. For a beginner at home, I don't think risk is worth the reward. So make it harder by adding a few seconds, adding a few controlled steps, using a lighter touch on your support, but only when you feel safe to do that, and only when you feel steady to do that. So let me give you 3 mistakes I want you to avoid. The first is taking away your support too soon. So holding a counter lightly is not cheating. The floor does not care about your pride, okay? So the second is trying to exercise it through dizziness or lightheadedness. That is a stop sign, not something to push through. And the third thing is thinking that balance exercises are the whole answer. You see, the CDC and National Institute on Aging also point to medication review. They also point to vision. They also point to strength. They also point to footwear and home hazards as part of fall prevention. So, of all these 4 exercises, which one looks hardest for you right now? Put a 1, 2, 3, or 4 in the comments. And I want to see where people are starting. And if you want to see where balance fits with everything else that helps you stay independent, I made a 5-pillar self-check. It's 20 questions, takes about 2 minutes, and it helps you see which pillar may need more attention. So the link is in the description pinned below in the comment. So here's the whole thing. Balance is less about passing a 1-foot test and more about giving your body a better chance to correct itself when life knocks you a little off course. So what you want to do is you want to start with support. Practice slowly. Do not chase harder versions just because someone online makes it look impressive. If your balance has changed suddenly, dizziness or numbness is a part of the problem, get that checked out instead of guessing. So the goal is simple. Keep walking through your own house, handling curbs and stairs, and moving through the world with confidence for as long as you can. If you have not watched my video on the 5 signs your strength may be slipping after age 60, watch that next because strength and balance work together. And what I'll do is I'll put that on the screen now. So subscribe if you do not want to miss the next pillar, and I will see you there in the next video.